I want to talk a little bit about what's coming up for the future. So this is kind of in a nutshell how we lay out the programs or the way I see them. So we have student programs, we have the garage, we have EPIIC Nights, which Luke's talked about. On campus, we have most of our partnerships we would say would be with the College of Business, because one of the other hats that I wear is the director for the Center for Entrepreneurship. We run a minor in entrepreneurship for students. And starting in fall of 2026, thanks to Dean Eicher and the College of Business's support, we are launching an emphasis in entrepreneurship. Undergraduate students will now be able to come to UCCS to earn a Bachelor of Science in Business with an emphasis in entrepreneurship. So they're going to be able to major in that, yeah. That's going to have an effect for EPIIC because, of course, we are going to direct our resources into supporting this new emphasis going forward. For the community, we, of course, EBV, the Venture Attractor, that's Scale to 1 Million Boot Up Camp, the Torch Grants, and Spark the Springs. We have our partnerships. We've been touting, I always say at every event, all our ecosystem partner leaders like Max and John Michael and Brandon and Joe, all of these organizations, they get sick of me because we have, and I've worked in a lot of city ecosystems, and we have the most cooperative ecosystem I've ever seen. We work really, really well together. One of the things in particular I like to say is when you have somebody like, let's take Colin Plover, and he's relocating from Philadelphia, he will say, is there a place, yes, I'm going to win the Torch Grant, but what else can you do? I'm like, well, we can almost guarantee you a seat at Exponential Impact because we already know that they're interested in what you're doing. We can basically refer them down the road and say, they're going to help you with co-working space. They have their own accelerator program. They have their own funding programs. And that's exactly what a lot of our I think almost every single one of our Torch Grant winners have also gone on to find a home at Exponential Impact. And this is what I'm talking about. This is how we are going to build the entrepreneurial spirit for the city. We joined something called ICANN. My predecessor, Tom Dunning, has created the International Collegiate Angels Network. This is actually, it's on an online platform. So if you know of any wealthy individuals who are angels, we actually can invite them to join our platform and they will have access to every new venture deal available for investment across the United States. And all we ask is if they're interested, they can make a pledge anywhere between 0 to whatever percent. We basically say if you find an angel investment deal through our platform, we would ask that you would give a percentage of what you earn from your investment, so sometime down the road, provide a percentage as a gift back to the university. So we're really excited to get on board with this. And through this platform, we now have access to, we had 100 companies express interest in the Venture Attractor this year through this platform. So it's not only is it allowing us a way to recruit angels to join us so that we can help fix, strong word, so we can help address the access to capital issue we have in this town, also recruit companies into our programs. I've intentionally drawn this graphic. For those of you who are my entrepreneurship students, none of you are, but pretend that you are. Where do you see opportunities for growth here? Where would you say is the opportunities for growth? Where? Campus. Campus, exactly. This is where we're trying to get to. So we are trying to make sure that so a major focus for me and Luke this coming year absolutely is going to be an emphasis on the garage. All of our new entrepreneurship students who are going to be majoring in entrepreneurship through the emphasis will be required to come through the garage. They'll be able to take it for credit through a course called ENTP 3950. We usually run about, 5 or 6 companies at a time in the garage. We're expecting that number to triple or quadruple over the next 2 to 3 years. So Luke and I have a long task. We're going to be spending a lot of time in a TV studio this summer, building curriculum. We've already mapped out about 8 or 9 modules, because we have companies that will join the garage at different stages. Mo Brothers, Snow Brothers, I've already got employees, I'm already incorporated, and so we can say, all right, start at module 3 and move on from there. Whereas others are coming through where I have sort of an idea, really don't know what it is, a kind of a vision. Your module 1, start from there. We want to bring in mentors. We want to bring in folks who are, for example, and we're very explicit about this. We're not shy about this. So Mo Brothers, Snow Brothers. We've become very good friends with Air Academy Credit Union. Well, guess who Mo Brothers, Snow Brothers got sent to and is going to get a loan? So, and basically, I love John Autry. He's the one who heads commercial lending. He said to me, he said, you keep sending me companies like this, we're going to be good. So again, we're trying to make sure that we're giving access to our student startups, access to resources to really get their businesses up and moving. So we're going to be building out the garage. It's a major focus. EPIIC Nights. We're going to bring back the Lion's Den. And who asked me at our very first meeting to bring back the Lion's Den? Colonel Dan White at the U.S. Air Force Academy. He's like, can you please bring back he's like, probably it's because my understanding is that the Air Force, the teams usually win. So they usually do really well. So I'm sorry he's not here, but Dirk Hobbs from Colorado Media Group has agreed to be the media sponsor. We're going to open up Lion's Den business plan competition to everyone in Southern Colorado. So we want to have CSU Pueblo, Colorado College, U.S. Air Force Academy, Adams State, anyone else that wants to come up and compete, we want to be able to do that and open it up for a proper competition. We're going to also have a long-term vision. This is further down the road, is something we're going to call the Lab to Market program. So we have a lot of STEM students that have ideas for business. There are a lot of STEM students who are working on laboratory research. This would be in a way to be able to help them think about, all right, you've made a breakthrough in the lab. What's the next step for getting it? Just building I'm talking to a room full of entrepreneurs. Building a better mousetrap is not enough. You have to think about how you're going to wrap this into a business concept and a business model and a revenue model and all these things. So we want to help these students be able to generate more business opportunities. We've already had, EPIIC can't take credit for this, but our predecessor, Terry Bolt, for example, actually has helped launch a bunch of cybersecurity startups here in the community. And this is an effort to replace his role because we've lost him in retirement, but we want to formalize a system for students who are in the STEM fields to be able to generate startup ideas. You'll notice almost every college is listed across here. Every single one of these programs, all these colleges, they all have students that could use a round of entrepreneurial training. College of Education has an early childhood development program, undergraduate program. And if you ask them what they're hoping those students will do is to go start early childhood development centers. Would be nice if they had 3 or 9 credits of entrepreneurship training because they're going to all be running their own businesses. Same thing with the social worker students who are in College of Public Service. We've had lots of conversations with the arts, performing arts, music, and so on. We would model this probably after some of the entrepreneurship, the music entrepreneurship program at CU Boulder. So the idea is to teach artists some business skills so that they can run themselves as a business. How do you take what you're doing and turn it into something that you can make a living doing? Okay. So we're going to continue to support, obviously we're going to continue to support the EBV. And one of the folks that I want to give a quick shout out to my friend Jonathan. If you're wondering, Jonathan is a firefighter. And for all you veterans in the room, all the challenges that veterans have with transition into civilian life, starting a business, dealing with the stress, I'm now learning through Jonathan, all our friends who are first responders, same exact stories. They have the same challenges, the same issues, and the same concerns. So one of the things down the road, again, way down the road, is to think about how we could adapt some of our programming that we're doing for veterans and target it at first responders as well. And then the last thing I want to highlight here is we're in the planning phase of doing a TEDx event. We actually have 3 speakers already engaged. Kristen Goodwin, U.S. Air Force, retired. Alex Kopaz, he's the gold medal winner in the bobsled for Canada, now entrepreneur in the medical space. He's agreed to be a speaker. So we are already lining up. And the beauty about a TEDx event is their rules actually forbid us for paying an honorarium to the speaker. They are required to donate their time. So believe it or not, for the size of the event and the notoriety of the event, it's actually it's a good bang for the buck for the sponsors, is the way I would put it. Be very candid about the way I would word that. Okay. Anything else I wanted to talk about here? So we want to go from here to here. over the next couple of years. We've got a lot of work to do. So this is what I was talking about for the entrepreneurial journey for our undergraduate students. So we now need to figure out ways to, working with the College of Business, we need to figure out ways to recruit high school students to want to come study entrepreneurship here. We want to support them whether they're in the College of Business or not. We, of course, want to support the students who've selected the emphasis on entrepreneurship as their major. And then, of course, we want to turn them into another SALT athletic. So if you all know SALT, Rafael de la Vega, started his business in the garage, moved into the venture attractor, won a Torch grant, and he's now, if you ever go to a Switchbacks game, he sponsors every game. He's got advertising all over the stadium, and he's going to, I don't know, we're allowed to say, his revenue is doing extremely well. And he's actually, Jim Welder told me, he actually is going to an investment pitch tomorrow in Arizona and is likely to raise another round of funding. So he's the kind of prototypical student we have in mind to move through the garage, through our programs. I've already said this. This is a major emphasis for us. EBV, we're going to support this all the way. If we could raise enough money, I'd love to run this twice a year. I'm not going to look at Luke while I say that because his head's going to explode. But it's worth saying, Blake Schwank and I, we were on a podcast up at Mount Carmel, and I got asked, or I think I volunteered, why do I support veterans so much? Why do I care this much? It's because I take people's service to my family very personally. That's the same thing I feel about firefighters as well. I had a lot of friends. For those of you who are civilians in the room, here's an example of what military service asks for. I had a lot of friends who served in the first Gulf War with stories about standing in line, being injected with all kinds of stuff, and not being allowed to be told what the contents of those chemicals were because they were classified. And that's just a small comparison of what we ask our friends, our brothers and sisters in uniform to go through. We're fine. So this is one of the reasons I am personally committed to serving the veteran community, and now I'm learning a lot more that another place for attention is our folks in our communities who are first responders. So here are some folks, again, some of the names. Erica Chung, if anybody knows Erica Chung, if you all know the story of the Theranos fiasco, she was one of the whistleblowers, and I've gotten to know her very well. I think she's one of the bravest people I've ever met for having the courage, along with her co-whistleblower, to blow the whistle on Theranos, probably the biggest startup fraud that we'll see possibly in my lifetime. It's a hell of a fraud. And Erica's mission now is to create a nonprofit. She's focused on helping people learn about ethical entrepreneurship. There's got to be a way where we can teach people to build their businesses in a way that doesn't sort of either on purpose or accidentally lead you into a fraudulent situation. Those of you who've been down the startup phase know that fake it till you make it is a good adage, but it can actually get you sort of on the edge of not so good behavior. Lion's Den, EPIIC Night, I already talked about this. Last thing I want to mention is, of course, I'm the director. Believe it or not, I'm the first director for EPIIC it's ever had, with different structure that we've run. And we will be hiring to replace Terry Bolt in his chair, so we will continue to offer, I'll have a counterpart, an El Pomar chair in the field to be named later, we'll call it that. Luke, of course, will stay in charge of everything. He basically is the Institute. Jessica Tabbert, welcome aboard. Thank you again. Carrie Olson, and then Ariana. And then we are going to actually be in a position now to hire what we're hoping will be a full-time additional position to help us run the on-campus activities as well. So we're hoping to expand by one more body our staff, because right now, I'm going to look at you while I say this, Luke. The biggest bottleneck right now in our ability to achieve our goals is how much time Luke and I can put into these activities.
Thank you all for coming.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for coming.